You talk about the match that was played last week, Adar Al-Guedi taking out Amy Wong in what turned out to be a 7-game match that we went to the Fast Five, which we'll talk a lot about tonight, but went to the Fast Five in the last 2 games. I believe we have some clips from last week's match, and why don't we go to those right at the head start here?
Yeah, we'll definitely see some great highlights here. And right from the start, you see Amy holding her own, moving the ball around, and she is starting with the serve. Just to get into the rally quickly, Adar has so much spin on his first ball. Look for him to really go for the big shots. Very safe, very smart play by Adar, just taking his time, keeping good topspin, good depth on the ball.
Wong seeking to even this match up. Now Adar Al-Guedi in complete control. Game 7 game points here, and the first one with the serve to Amy Wong, down 0-4. And that is going to do it as Adar Al-Guedi takes both of the Fast 5 games and comes from behind. Down 3-2, he wins 2 consecutive at Fast 5 to win the match 4-3 and give Team Butterfly now a commanding 3 matches to none lead over Team Mitaku. Really too bad for Amy Wong. All right, welcome back live here at the Westchester Table Tennis Center. Of course, neither Sean nor I are here in Westchester. Sean is in beautiful Portland, Oregon. I am in beautiful Winters, Texas here at the Bliss Motel. So I've been just about everywhere, Sean, but happy to be here. Those were some interesting highlights to watch there between Adar Al-Guedi and Amy Wong. It was a match where Amy actually led 3-2 going into the Fast 5. And I thought, and we'll talk more about this Fast 5, but I thought Adar played the Fast 5 just about perfectly. Very aggressive. He ended up scoring 10 of the 11 points that were played in the 2 Fast 5 games that were played. He played excellently, but I love the way he just came out storming, which I think is the appropriate strategy when you're just playing to 5 points.
Yeah, it really is, Mark. You have to get your strengths into play as quickly as possible. You can't figure things out or wait until the game evolves. And Adar, with his third ball attack, his very aggressive serve, serving into the body and also really forcing Amy to give up the off-the-bounce type of game. He played it well, just like we saw Kai Jung do in week 1, which is to come from behind and no lead is safe in T2 format.
Yeah, this is week 4 of the Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge, and it is the third match, Sean, where we do have a battle of the genders. We've got Tahl Leibovitz, who, of course, is a Paralympian, just a gold medalist. He's just absolutely, first of all, great person. I just love Tahl, but also an excellent table tennis player. Taking on Jennifer Wu, who, of course, is an Olympian as well, represented the United States of America 2016 in Rio. And I know both of these players are very excited to play tonight, and that may be part of the issue, is controlling that emotion when you come out to play this match, particularly, I think, early on, and not be overwhelmed by the nerves.
Yeah, and I think both players, they're so well known and well respected in New York City. The buzz around New York City is everyone's betting on the match. Everyone's trying to figure out who to go for. One of Tahl's practice partners, Ernesto Ebuan, he asked me if I wanted to bet a dinner tonight. And I said, I don't ever bet on students or team members. So it's really a pick 'em match. Either player, if they play their best, they should have the slight upper hand. I would say on paper, Jennifer's game a little bit more complete. Tahl a little bit takes his chances. You never know what's going to happen. He's got to keep his motions in check. Jennifer just tends to really play nice and calm for most of her game, and you don't see a lot of up and down.
Yeah, what I love about Tahl is just his energy and excitement that he brings to the court every time he comes out and plays. And you noted this, Sean. He is a student of yours at time. He's worked with a lot of really good coaches. Obviously, Mitch Seidenfeld, he's worked with Mitch quite a bit. Also, I think he's worked with both Stellan and Angie Bankston at times. He knows where to go to get his instruction, no question about it. And I'm looking at his game over time. I would imagine that it has evolved. Where do you see him right now? He is, he's 44 years of age now. And that in table tennis, I don't see age as really being determinative of the quality of your play. But obviously, he is a mature player. Have you watched Tahl over time evolve into a better or different player?
Definitely a better player. And I think he's using the experiences and the coaching advice both from Mitch, from Angie, from Stellan, some of the coaches in New York, where he's more calm. He's not as fiery, which if the fire is directed in the wrong way, that can be a problem. Fitness-wise, since qualifying for Tokyo, he's really taken upon himself to really pay attention to his diet. He's exercising. He's walking literally 5 to 7 miles every day. He's really in great shape. So I would say he's probably playing the best of his career. However, like all players, he hasn't had that much match and tournament play. Everyone's coming off of kind of the March shutdown. So it's a little bit of what to expect. He has been practicing at Ping Pod with the coaches there, and I think Jennifer's played there some as well. Both Tahl and Jennifer have played at Spin New York, and they've done coaching there. So there's a lot of action in New York City, and I just know that because they're both such fine champions, there's so much respect for each other across the net. So I just think it's going to be a great match, and it'll be super feedback for Tahl, especially what he needs to continue to focus on going into Tokyo.
Yeah, you talk about conditioning, and that's one of the elements that's really stood out over time for me watching Jennifer Wu. Her conditioning level, her determination, her willingness to sacrifice has always been something that has stood out to me. But I think one of the most outstanding features of her game, at least in the times that I've had an opportunity to watch her, is her quickness. Her footwork is exceptional. She's a person who can move from side to side as quickly as anybody that I've seen in the female or male game, any type of game. She definitely understands the importance of being in the right position to strike the ball. And a lot, of course, is based on the quality and quickness of your footwork.
And her strokes are really textbook. Trained in China, so she's got beautiful fundamentals. She knows where to place the ball. What I like about Jennifer the most is when she plays her forehand down the line. She kind of pulls it out at certain times, but she'll get her opponent wide out to the forehand. If that ball comes back cross court, she loves to take that forehand down the line. And as you said, Mark, just really a complete game. Good short game, good opening, the ability to smash lobs, reloop balls, block well. So if there's any students of the game, any players that want to get better, you can't go wrong watching Jennifer both on the forehand and backhand side.
I think tonight's match is going to be interesting from the mental standpoint as well. You and I talked off the air about Tahl, who seems to like to actually increase the pressure on himself to improve his performance. Jennifer, perhaps a little bit different, that she's got to be a little bit more controlled mentally of her game, kind of relax into the moment and really feel comfortable to play at her best.
Well, we have spoken to some of our top women, Lu Juan and Jennifer as well. They've said publicly they feel so much pressure, both from the prize money, both from the battle of the genders. They want to win for their home team, get Team Nataku on the board. So there will be a battle internally for both Tahl and Jennifer, because they just really want to help their team and kind of notch one more victory and get to that magical 6.
We'll go through it again here in a moment or two, but we are playing under T2 rules tonight, which of course means there is a 24-minute time clock, and it continues to run. At the end of the 24 minutes, any game started after 24 minutes plays just to 5 points. We talked previously about how important it is in that fast 5 to be aggressive, to be quick, to attack. These two players, Sean, are both players who are capable of keeping the ball on the table. So I almost anticipate that if we do go beyond 4 games tonight, that we are going to see fast 5.
Yeah, it'd be very likely. And if we learned anything from last week with Aldar Alguetti, is that you want to have a finishing shot. And if Tahl is able to get his backhand loop into play, that will give him a slight advantage. However, Jennifer is so good at moving the ball around that Tahl's going to have to be careful not to give up the table, because she'll just run him left and right. So I think it'll be a real tactical battle, but I would anticipate if we go past that 4th game, high probability that we will hit another fast 5.
Sean, before we come into the action live here in just a moment out of the pregame, I do want to make special mention of the people at Westchester Table Tennis Center. Will Shorts and his entire crew, Edmund Suin, of course, Wing Luke, Stephanie Luke, Ben Nisbet, and the umpire at all of our matches so far, Wilson Chia, have done an exceptional job. They have been so good to work with. The Westchester Table Tennis Center is looking absolutely beautiful. A premier facility just north, of course, of New York City, there in beautiful Westchester. And they've just been excellent to work with. They put on a great show. This is the 4th week we're going to be here, and at least going forward for the next matches, we're going to be not at Westchester, but I do want to make special mention of the great work that they've done there.
It's just really been a treat working with everyone. Nothing that we've asked for, they've said no to. They've gone above and beyond our expectations. So I echo your thoughts, Mark. It's just a real tribute to what Will has done there to make the Westchester Club and the new expansion a real premier center for table tennis in the United States.
Well, and I also want to make special mention of our sponsors who have worked with us, Team Butterfly, Nataku has worked with us. Of course, the people at T2 in Singapore have been absolutely great to work with. I do also want to make mention of our captains. David Sakai, the captain of Team Butterfly, of course, is one of the all-time greats in every which way you can possibly think of. And his counterpart, who we all love and hold dear to our heart, Patty Martinez Wasserman. Both of them have gone above and beyond themselves to be a part of the Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge. And we want to thank both David Sakai and Patty Martinez Wasserman.
And they've just been true Hall of Famers. Just from the get-go, once we presented the idea, we thought, let's include some of our veterans who really can share some words of wisdom to our teams, to our captain, or to the players, and they've just been awesome. So,
you mentioned the Hall of Fame, and we hadn't said it, but Tahl Leibovitz is actually a member of the USATT Hall of Fame. A little bit unusual. Usually we wait to induct people into a Hall of Fame until their career is at least, 5 years expired, but not necessarily in all sports and not necessarily in table tennis, as Tahl certainly has earned that title as USATT Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he most definitely has, and it looks like we're going to set the scene right now to get the action underway. We will be back in a moment, and thanks everyone for joining the pregame.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Westchester Table Tennis Center. I am Mark Thompson, along with the High Performance Director of USA Table Tennis and Olympian and Olympic commentator as well, Sean O'Neill. Looking forward to an exciting, great match tonight. Tahl Leibovitz taking on Jennifer Wu for our Thursday Night Live Challenge, brought to you by T2, Team Butterfly versus Team Nataku. And Sean, we noted it in the pregame show, but right now, Team Butterfly on a bit of a tear. They've won the first 3 weeks. They're 3-0. First team to 6 takes the big prize money for the team. So it is a big night for Team Nataku, Jennifer Wu. I hate to put too much more pressure on her shoulders, but that element is important as well.
It's going to be a great match. I can't wait to see what transpires here. 2 champions out there going for $1,000. Runner-up gets $500. So definitely can help, and it's going to be a great match.
You see our umpire, Wilson Chia, flipping the coin, and it appears just from observing that Jennifer Wu did win the toss, and we'll see. Looks like she's going to serve first here on our Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge, week number 4. This is the 4th week in what could be as many as 11 matches that'll be played over the course of 11 weeks, and 22 players playing. There are 2 teams. Team Butterfly are captained by David Sakai, and Team Nataku, Patty Martinez-Wasserman. And the order, the way they select teammates, is the loop of the week in which they're playing chooses their teammate for the next week's match. And of course, we're playing under T2 rules here, which means that there is a 24-minute clock. Any game that starts after 24 minutes has expired is only to 5 points. Interestingly, on T2 match rules, there is no deuce, and that, of course, changes the elements just a little bit. First person to 11 in a regular game, or first person to 5 in a fast 5 ends up winning the game. There are 45 seconds between games, 30 seconds, also towel breaks. The clock keeps running during those. There is, however, 1 timeout that stops the clock. Right now, as noted, Team Butterfly leading in our Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge. 3 games to none, or 3 matches to none, and it is the first team to 6 that ends up winning the team challenge. So, Sean, Jennifer Wu playing for Team Nataku, of course, a righty player who is an offensive-styled player, plays with the shake hand style, taking on, I like to call him young Tahl Leibovitz, right-handed player. He can do just about everything. He's a shake hands player as well. Love the energy that these 2 people bring to the table tennis court. I think we're going to see a little bit of that tonight, Sean.
Oh, it's going to be a tremendous matchup with these 2 fine players. It looks like that Tahl on the far side. We will not be changing ends after each game just because we are playing under COVID-19 rules, and be interesting to see who can get that initial game and create some momentum. It looks like we are ready for action to begin. Wilson has called the players over to start the match.
Of course, it is a best of 7. First player to win 4 games wins the match. When we've gone all 7 games in 2 of our 3 matches that have been played thus far, Kai Zhang defeated Tom Feng in week 1 in 7 games. And last week, it was Adar Al-Guedi, ending up beating Amy Wong in 7 games as well. There was the 1 week in between those 2 where Sharon Al-Guedi ended up winning 4-zip on Lu Juan. And the first point in this match tonight goes to Jennifer Wu.
Looks like Jennifer is going to be mixing up both her short serve and serves into the body. That's exactly what we saw last week. Tahl likes to serve from his backhand side to hopefully get his backhand loop in. That really sets up the rest of his game.
Boy, and he had some super spin on that backhand serve right there, and it went long off the paddle of Jennifer Wu. It's 1-2. Tahl Leibovitz trailing Jennifer Wu. That's off the top of the net and long. So Jennifer early in game 1 leading 3-1 with the serve.
Oh, and what a great recovery there by Tahl after having the pop-up off the serve, somehow managing to get back into the point. Jennifer's going to really need to put the ball through him on those first opportunities.
Good serve that time by Jennifer Wu. Looked short with a lot of spin, and Tahl into the net. He'll get the serve now, trailing 2-4 here in game one.
And that was a nice put away there by Tahl after setting it up with a short return. Both players very strong, both short and with their openings.
Nice rally. Jennifer taking a 5-3 lead. She'll get the serve. Both of these players are playing with Yue equipment. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on. As that ends up going long, and I believe actually that did land on. I thought, actually, Wilson Chia changed this because it looked like it went long to me, and it did. It's 6-3.
And that's a nice, better fifth ball attack there by Jennifer. Quality opening, taking Tahl wide to his back, and then leaving the forehand court open. Oh, and that's a great backhand down the line by Leibovitz.
Like he changed that one up, almost like he no-looked it to the right side and went left.
And this is really the nitty-gritty right here. You're up by a couple points. You want to try to close out that game. Tahl making a little bit of a surge to try to come back here in game one, but Jennifer does have the serve. Nice deep serve by Jennifer.
So he leads 8-5 here in game one. And that long as well. And Jennifer Wu, the 9-5 serve to Tahl Leibovitz.
It just looks like, Mark, that Tahl's forcing a little bit right now. Jennifer's just playing very controlled, moving the ball around, not taking really any risks. Oh, wonderful forehand block. Wow, that was outstanding by Jennifer in order to play that last ball out to the forehand side.
And game one does go to Jennifer Wu as Tahl Leibovitz goes back to his corner to discuss strategy. 11-5 for Jennifer Wu in game one. Tahl did a good job in that last point, Sean, keeping the ball on the table. But when Jennifer had an opportunity to open up and hit a power shot down the forehand side, ended up blowing it by him.
Yeah, I mean, right now what Jennifer's doing exceptionally well is she's controlling the table. She's putting pressure on Tahl both to back him up and to move him around. And it looks like Tahl just really hasn't figured out where to play the ball to Jennifer. I mean, he's going kind of into her forehand and backhand. As you mentioned earlier, Mark, her footwork is so solid. Her strokes fundamentals are very clean. So he's going to have to come up with something. I don't know if the short game that he's doing is going to eventually be the winning tactic, but he needs to somehow get his offense going and maybe force Jennifer to play a little bit more defense. Right now, she's still moving the ball around exceptionally well.
You noted that both of these players do play with Yue equipment. For Jennifer, her rubbers, she uses the Rhythm Tech and the Golden Tango PS, while on the other side, Tahl Leibovitz using the Riser 48 on both sides of his paddles. We get game two underway.
You know, it's funny, Mark. Tahl is always looking for the perfect equipment, and for the longest time, he would just say, "What is Jennifer using?" Because he always loved her results. And when she won the Pan Am Gold to qualify for Rio, he's like, "If she's using it, I'm using it." He really respects her game, her style, her control. So right now, he's looking like he's body language, a little bit of trouble, but Jennifer's continuing to steamroll, getting her game going. You can see just a lot of pressure on Tahl right now, forcing him to play that last ball into the net. Nice
serve that time by Tahl. Down by a point here in game two. was 11-5 was the score of game one. So Tahl trying to get back in here.
Oh, an edge ball off of a very side spinny play on the backcourt.
When you're hot, and Jennifer Wu is hot right now, leading 4-2. I thought Tahl did a good job that time on his loop and setting that up, and Jennifer did an excellent job of sticking with it and getting the ball back on the table.
Oh, that's a beautiful backhand loop there. Tahl thought he could throw in an underspin ball, and Jennifer said she didn't want anything to do with that and just looped it for a winner. Very strong backhand play.
Another one. She crossed him up that time. I think he thought she was going the forehand side and drilled it into the body on the backhand side.
Yeah, that's that down-the-line forehand that she does so beautifully on the forehand side. When you're not expecting it, she just takes it straight down the line. And again, Jennifer doing a great job in the kind of the broken point scramble. Tahl had a high ball, but he wasn't able really to put it away.
That did go long. So now in game two, it is 8-3. Jennifer Wu, who's playing excellently here in the early going.
And that flip goes a little bit long.
I love Jennifer's serve on that one, Sean. It was kind of like short to the forehand side, something we hadn't seen yet in this match, but Tahl handled it well.
And two uncharacteristic errors there by Jennifer. And Tahl trying to creep back into this second game.
He's doing it slowly but surely. He's now within two. Serve comes over to Jennifer Wu, leading 8-6. She leads 1-0. We're in game two.
Again, that strong, solid opening. Both players are exceptionally strong on their backhand sides. Jennifer a little bit stronger on her forehand when she puts them in a combo.
And now with the serve and trailing by 2 again is Tahl Leibovitz. On a great shot by Tahl that time. Good power on the forehand side. He draws within 1 here at 8-9 and the serve.
Oh, and just overplaying that follow-up backhand. He had a good backhand opening. Jennifer kept it somewhat low, and then Tahl just pounded the ball off the end of the table. Big game points right here.
Good job by Tahl that time. Into the body with power and draws within 1 again, but another game point for young Jennifer Wu. There it is. Great power loop by Jennifer Wu down the forehand side. And Tahl Leibovitz showing a little bit of frustration here at 11-9 victory in game two. And now leading 2-0 is Jennifer Wu for Team Nataku.
Yeah, it looked, Mark, like Tahl would have liked to have had that last loop back. He left it hanging a little bit, and Jennifer just took it downtown with her forehand re-loop. Tahl did play better, I would say, the second half of this game. I mean, he was moving things around, getting Jennifer to be a little bit more uncomfortable with his serve. But right now, Jennifer is in the driver's seat with this 2-0 lead.
Jennifer, who was part of that World Team Cup USA team that got 5th place in 2019, which was a tremendous accomplishment for Team USA. I love it when we see ourselves creeping up on the international stage here, Sean, and Team USA has done an exceptional job of that of late.
No, absolutely. And both the women's team and the men's team had great success at the World Cup. It was kind of the test event for the Olympics in Tokyo. So we're always excited to see their hard work paying off, especially on the international stadium field.
Good Just joining us now, Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge, Jennifer Wu versus Tahl Leibovitz in week 4. Jennifer representing Team Nitaku, trying to get them on the board. They trail 3 matches to none to Team Butterfly. And Jennifer making a statement tonight so far.
Oh, and Tahl opted for the lefty, knowing that Jennifer had just played one really wide out to his forehand. She knows he will change hands, so I don't think she would have been completely surprised by that. But Tahl needs to get some offense going. This has been, look at that forehand down the line there.
By Jennifer Wu, just powered it by down the forehand side. You talked about that shot before, Sean. She executed it perfectly that time.
Oh, and there's Tahl's
answering
backhand just to even things up here. Great backhand hit down the line as well.
It's like a great prize fight over those last 4, the first 4 points here in game 3.
And there's a much stronger serve return there by Leibovitz, forcing his backhand into play off of a serve that just went a little bit long. Jennifer's going to need to shorten that up to stop Tahl's initial play.
And that's his first lead of the match as well for Tahl Leibovitz. And now he extends it to 2 points here in game 3 as he's kind of seems to be regrouped here. And Jennifer's hit some good shots, but Tahl's had answers, now leads 4-2 with the serve.
Looks a lot more offensive-minded. Tahl's going to stick with his backhand serve. It's kind of his trademark. It really set up his first opening shot, especially from the backhand side. And that forehand goes long, but it was hittable.
Yeah, you could tell Tahl's not happy about that because that ball was up just a little bit, and I think he felt like he could finish it, but he missed the table.
Tahl not feeling too good on the backcourt. He looked like he was wobbling there, trying to will it on. Jennifer showing a lot of patience with her forehand smash.
She's going to go to a backhand serve here as well, trailing by a point. First time we've seen that. That was a let serve, however.
Thought that Jennifer might go for the attack on that serve return. It was a little bit high. Tahl took advantage and now is rewarded with a 2-point lead here in game 3.
That goes long, so Tahl now extends his lead to the largest margin that he's had in his favor. 3 points at 7-4 here in game 3, trailing 2 games to none.
And there's a very strong backhand hit off the bounce, and we're within 10 minutes for keeping an eye on the timer in the far corner, because that would send us into fast 5 scoring.
It goes long, so it's 5-8 with the serve. Jennifer Wu. Tahl not happy about that shot.
Yeah, really big points right here. Tahl cannot afford to let this game slip away.
That ball popped up a little bit, and Jennifer handled it beautifully. Now trails by just 2. The serve over to Tahl Leibovitz, leading 8-6.
Nice forehand loops there. The problem was that last backhand was a little bit jammed and a little bit rushed, and Jennifer mounting a very strong comeback here.
Missed wide. So evening things up here in game 3 is Jennifer Wu. She leads 2 games to none. I think this is a critical point, Sean, for Tahl Leibovitz.
Yeah, absolutely. This is kind of timeout zone material just to regroup. You do not want to get... And Tahl returned that serve with his left hand. It's to be expected, just to try to change things up. Let's see which one he's going now, because he's losing maybe some confidence on the right side.
It goes long, so we're back to even at 9-9 here in game 3.
Point of the match right now. And Tahl able to get his forehand in to get his first game point.
And with the serve as well. Go to that backhand slice. And that goes long. And Tahl Leibovitz is on the board. Wins 11-9 in game 3. Great serve by Tahl. Jennifer unable to handle it. And it's Tahl Leibovitz winning 11-9 in game 3.
Now this match is getting really exciting right now. Jennifer had a slight chance to really steal the momentum and go up 3-0, but Tahl somehow, with a series of serves and a big forehand, got himself on the board. And I'm guessing he's just trying to extend right now. He just wants to make this go as long as possible, thinking that a fast 5 would be something that would be beneficial.
And that certainly increased our chances to going to fast 5. Of course, Tahl's been on the big stage many times. He will again. He was the first person to qualify as a Paralympian for what is the 2021 games in Tokyo. He's been there a number of times before, Sean. He knows what it's like to be under the heavy lights of the big time play, and he'll get another opportunity next summer in Tokyo, Japan.
He had said prior to this match that this is going to be probably his best prep. There's some other international tournaments that they're looking at, but he really wants to see, after playing Jennifer, what changes he would need to make in his training and in his game to fully be ready to try to win another medal at the Paralympics. Oh, great play by both players. Tahl trying to get the flat hits in. Jennifer continuing with the very strong off-the-bounce topspin.
She leads 2-0 here in game 4, leading 2-1, and we got an eye on the clock as well for the fast 5. That goes long, and Jennifer now with an early 3-0 lead here in game 4.
Oh, beautiful backhand flat hit off the table. It looked like Jennifer had really found the perfect location to go to, and Tahl came back with a nice hit. Oh, and Jennifer
back.
Wow, if you can do it, I can do it better. Beautiful play out of a jammed ball to the middle.
And Tahl both sides that time as well. Using the right hand, the left hand, using whatever it takes to draw within 2 here in game 4.
It's almost not fair when you talk about footwork when you can just change hands and not have to move as much. So Tahl getting within 2 here in game 4.
There was that short serve again by Jennifer Wu, but her stroke goes long and now leads by just 1 at 4-3. We talk about economy of style, and we had the opportunity to talk with Jan-Ove Waldner, the Mozart of table tennis, and that was something that stood out in our conversation with him, Sean. We'll talk more about that later, but right now, Tahl Leibovitz evens things up at 4-4, I believe. It shows 4-3 on the scoreboard right now, but I think that score may be wrong. Or I could be wrong.
Yeah, Jennifer, really nice job on opening up and getting that forehand loop into play. I think
they got to reset the scoreboard. There may be an issue there with it. I believe right now it is 5-4 Tahl leading.
Oh, and Tahl with a heavy side spin lob. Jennifer really needs to, in that situation, just turn her shoulders and swing through the ball. That time she kind of just blocked it, and that heavy side spin really took a hold of her racket and jumped off side of the table.
I've got it 6-4 Tahl right now, but don't hold me to that. Oh, and Jennifer comes back. Tahl tried to change hands, but unsuccessfully, not happy about it. And the unofficial score is 6-5. Tahl leading over Jennifer Wu.
And that ball went off the end as well. Tahl just overplaying it just a little bit.
I believe we're going to get a timeout here, and they will stop the clock. Last time I saw the clock, it was at 2:30. I've got it at 6:06 right now, Sean, and we'll go with that until we're told differently. But obviously a critical point of the match. Jennifer Wu leading 2-1 here, and in Game 4 at 6-6, you can feel that this is one of those moments of a sporting event where the game could pivot or match could pivot in either direction. So I'm not sure. I did not see who called timeout here. I'm not sure if you were able to see who called the timeout there.
Yeah, it looked like Tahl called the timeout. He's needing to change direction a little bit. He's missed a couple of attacks a little too hard. Jennifer's just continuing with her game, not doing anything out of the norm.
Well, I guess I was wrong. 7-5 is the score here. Jennifer leading over Tahl Leibovitz. 2.5 minutes remaining on the 24-minute clock. The correct score, 7-5.
Super point, very good control. Tahl staying with the controlled loops from the backcourt. Jennifer just moving the ball around, but that last ball just missing.
Nice move by Jennifer there. Good power shot. Unable to handle it was Tahl Leibovitz, and now trails by 2 again. Now at 8-6 with the serve, Jennifer Wu. 1:45 remaining on the 24-minute clock. Jennifer extends the lead to 3 at 9-6. Critical moment here for Tahl Leibovitz. Down 2-1 in Game 4. Jennifer with the serve. Great point that time by Jennifer. Nice touch. Tahl into the net. Now with game point again is Jennifer Wu. And she does take it on the first opportunity on the game point. Now takes a 3-1 lead after 4 games, 11-6. There's still about a minute remaining on the 24-minute clock. So if you start this game before that clock runs out, Sean, it will go to the full 11 points.
Yeah, absolutely. So with a 45-second break between games, we should be looking at a full 11-game system here, 11-point with both players. And then if Tahl were to win this game, clearly then we would be in a fast 5. But he's going to have to change tactics a little bit. Right now, it's really been all Jennifer Wu. I mean, she's moved the ball around. He's had a couple of good shots, kind of sporadic smashes here and there, but Jennifer has been controlling the table.
And she does lead 3-1. 11-5 in Game 1, 11-9 in Game 2 for Jennifer Wu. Then bouncing back, Tahl Leibovitz, 11-9. But in Game 4, Jennifer Wu showing her strength again, 11-6 the score there. And now with his back to the proverbial wall, Tahl Leibovitz here in Game 5. I don't think this is a fast. Well, they're showing no time on the clock there, Sean. I don't think it should have been, perhaps, but they've got it as fast 5 here, and I think that's where we're going. And the first point in the fast 5 is 1. It should have been a 45-second break between the games. You thought there was enough time on the clock to start an 11-point game, but I don't think that's the way it happened.
We'll go with Wilson's call on the field.
Now we are in fast 5 and 1-1, and the serve to Jennifer Wu.
Oh, easily the best point of the match so far. Excellent play by both players.
Tahl ends up with the point, leading 2-1, and the serve here in the fast 5 in Game 5. Nice attack that time by Jennifer Wu to even things back at 2-2. Aggressive shot by Jennifer. The return by Tahl is long, and now with the serve trailing 2-3, Tahl Leibovitz opens things back at 3. Serve comes over to Jennifer Wu. It's just one serve apiece. They alternate the serve during the Fast 5, which we're in right now. First person to 5, no deuce here on the 7th point of the first Fast 5.
And Tahl able to get around that deep serve and get his forehand into play. And now he's got to be happy he is in this format, 1 point away from coming back to 3-2 in games.
Jennifer evens it up, and she has match point here. As she'll have the serve go to the backhand serve as well. It appears by her body language here on match point. And it is match point for Jennifer Wu, winning 5-4 in Game 5. So Jennifer Wu, the first player to win for Team Nataku, ends up winning in 5 games, 11-5, 11-9. Lost Game 3, 11-9, but the 11-6 victory in Game 4, and then a 5-4 win in the Fast 5. And now Team Nataku is on the board, Sean O'Neill. Team Butterfly still with the 3-1 lead after 4 weeks at Westchester, but a big win that time for Jennifer Wu and Team Nataku.
Jennifer played just exceptionally well tonight, really stuck to her game plan, keeping the ball in play, moving it around. Tahl played some great shots. Of course, he showed us his ambidextrous left-handed moves on a couple of shots, but tonight it was all Jennifer Wu.
You know, one of the concerns we had for Jennifer in the match was whether she was going to have a little bit of, the nerves, be a little bit nervous tonight or anxious. Didn't see it at all. She looked absolutely comfortable. She looked like a person who had been training and felt like she was ready for tonight's match and really played at her best.
Just consistent from the first point on. Again, we've seen her, her fundamentals, her footwork, everything just right on par tonight. Definitely deserved the victory.
Sean, you talked about this as being an important moment for Tahl Leibovitz. He was going to use it as kind of a jump-off point for his training for 2021 in Tokyo. What does he take from this match tonight against Jennifer Wu?
Well, I think he has to continue to work hard, continue to work on his offense, make sure that when that first ball comes back that he doesn't overplay that second one. A lot of times I think Jennifer surprised him by bringing back his first opening. And I think he just has to keep getting match play. I know he plays at Ping Pod. He has a chance to work with a number of good players there. The more matches, the better. But I just credit Jennifer Wu for great play tonight.
You and I may have not necessarily agreed with going to Fast 5 in that Game 5 right there, but it was the umpire's decision. And, it turns out to be the decision you play by. What did you see in the Fast 5 there? It was kind of, back and forth between the two players, but Jennifer Wu ends up winning 5-4 in what turns out to be the decisive Game 5.
Yeah, I think that Jennifer stuck to her game plan. She just didn't try anything unusual and played safe. Good offense, good positioning, and in the end, that was the difference.
Sean, this is week 4 that we're here at Westchester Table Tennis Center. We want to mention once again the great job that they've done at Westchester. The event is now going to move on. We have the other locations where we are going to host matches. I say we, but USATT is going to host Thursday Night Live matches, include the Silicon Valley, as well as Houston and Los Angeles. We're encouraging fans to just keep an eye at usatt.org to watch the next match. And, of course, the next match, the person who will select his teammate is Tahl Leibovitz. It's the first time that Team Butterfly has been in the position of having to select their player out of the next match that will be played in the Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge event, Sean.
And I think that Captain David Sakai will offer some very good words of wisdom. He knew that choosing Kai Jung in the first match would give them a home court advantage. So now we're going to have to see if Captain David can come in with another suggestion based on our upcoming locations.
Well, I know Captain Patty Martinez Wasserman, has a big smile on her face right now because she is after David Sakai, and she has finally got one of her players to step up and play great. I thought Jennifer Wu was just excellent tonight.
We'll definitely credit the battle of the genders for the women this week. I know that Tahl will want to get some revenge next time they run into each other, but just a really exceptional match tonight. And thanks again to everyone at Westchester for allowing us to be at your home club and to join from our website, dining, or our home, just to be there and see live table tennis. I mean, this has been such a treat for us to be able to keep the action going.
Well, Sean, I want to thank you as well for your great work in commentating, and thank you, the fans, for watching. Keep an eye at usatt.org for the next Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge. We're really looking forward to bringing you another exciting match. Tonight it is Team Nataku, who wins over Team Butterfly, as Jennifer Wu in 5 games, a 4-1 victory over Tahl Leibovitz in a very exciting match at the Westchester Table Tennis Center. Have a great night, everybody, and thanks for watching.
And thank you, Mark, and looking forward to working with you as we go forward.